go, 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 go. That's the birthday. That's the birthday.
Dear Pack, welcome to the show. The other day, many of you watched ZDogg MD, a man who we all know and love, get his coronary calcium score live on air. They hooked him up to all sorts of crazy medical stuff and gave him the score. Turns out he has 0. Ever since then, he's been on a rampage. Every day I'm like, Z, where are we going to lunch? He's like, Mickey D's, Tom Heineberg. I was like, Z, just because you got a good genetic score doesn't mean that you can totally discount environment. And then he slapped me. And he said, shut your mouth. I'm ZDogg motherfucking MD, and I'll do whatever I damn well please. And, you know, ever since then, he's just been insufferable, I have to be honest, and I think it's starting to have an effect on him.
Suck it, vegans. I got 0 calcium, bitches, and I'm gonna eat what I wanna eat. I've been alive for 44 years, motherfucker. 44. I've been eating like a motherfucking bird. 44 years. Like, I'm not gonna go to no Mickey D's and get a McFlurry because don't want this. And now I find out live that I have no calcium on my coronary calcium scan. And I don't care what the authorities say, oh, you know, it's only so sensitive and so specific. I consider this a clean bill of health. It's like I'm 0 years old again and I can start from scratch. And when would you deny a 0-year-old a 20-piece chicken McNugget followed by a McFlurry, followed by a sundae with the nuts and the chocolate sauce, followed by another sundae because it's 2 for $1.
I have to say it's amazing how fast your body puts on fat, ZDogg MD. That is what we call an evolutionary advantage. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the magic is I'm so ripped you can't even tell there's any fat on you. Because, you know, and also though, Pac, I gotta say, I got the itis because we just had a 20-piece McNugget followed by a 20-piece McNugget followed by, did I mention we're sponsored by McDonald's? Because, I mean, this isn't true, but in my world where sponsorships rain down from the sky, McDonald's would be 1, Coca-Cola would be 2, Big Sugar would be 3, Big Meat would be 4, and Big Vegan can suck all of it. I got the itis.
ZDogg MD, do you want to tell the people why you, for real, are wearing a fat suit?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you trying to say that I've picked up some weight since my coronary calcium score, which I misinterpreted as being an entirely clean bill of health and the ability to eat anything I want anytime and any fast food, including Wendy's, which is crap? Is that what you're saying?
What are you talking crap on? Wendy's is the best fast food, other than In-N-Out.
Listen.
And if you don't live on the West Coast, you're fucked.
Listen.
Everything else is trash.
A square burger is unnatural, all right? That's been established. Clinical trials. They've done meta-analyses, Tom Heineberg, about square burgers, and it turns out they are slightly more gross than placebo. It's been established. People, the reason, I don't know what fat suit Tom's talking about, but we are in the middle of recording a Bismarcky parody in honor of Pharmacist. And sometimes to get into the mind of a pharmacist, you have to gain 500 to 600 pounds because I've never met a pharmacist that didn't weigh at least 1,000 pounds. This is the wrongest statement that I've ever made because every pharmacist I've ever met is rail thin. What is it? Is it access to the crack? What is it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know because you know they work in the grocery store, so you would think they may be fat, but they're not.
No, because they got access to berries and twigs and kale.
Yeah.
I don't got access to that.
Because if I worked at the pharmacy, I'd be like, yo, I'm on lunch break. I'm going to get some Reese's Pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Enchilada. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, if it's good enough for E.T., that shit's good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Look, check it out, Pac. What we wanted to talk about today is the itis. Oh, by the way, you got a PharmD, but they say you just dispense and get played by PBMs. Oh, baby, you. That's coming soon, for better or for worse. Guys, what I wanted to talk about today, we went to the Travelers Nursing Convention at TravCon 2017 the other day. We were broadcasting live and direct, and we talked to hella nurses. And let me just tell you, have you ever met a girl you tried to date where you show up and they're like, oh my God, you're famous? That's nurses. Like, they all knew who we were. They knew who Logan was. They knew who Tom was. I'm like, damn, y'all famous. But the reason is that they've seen our videos. But then when you talk deep and you say, girl, you hit share on that? They're like, oh, hell no, I don't need to get fired. And I'm like, what? So apparently, there's a lot of fear on the internets because especially in Facebook, you use your real name usually, unless you're a punk like ZDogg MD. And if you use your real name and you even hit like or share and your employer is straight creeping like a T-Rex with those little hands like, what's going on there? I see Zubin. Is that a real name, Zubin? I see Zubin is liking and sharing this video about violence against healthcare providers. Does that mean she's gonna sue us if she gets punched by a patient and we don't back her up because we don't back her up? Well, heck, we better just prophylactically fire her. And I was talking to nurses at this travelers conference and they have been told, some of them worked in administration and said, you know what? They'll flat out say, there's a line of applications this big, so if anyone talks beef, fire. So is it a danger to your career, Tom Heineberg, to like or share our videos, especially this one where I got the itis?
It's definitely a danger to your career, for sure.
I ain't scared of you, Tom Heineberg. You're fear-mongering. I ain't fucking scared of anybody.
No, I mean, the thing I hear from people, and especially like people at TravCon were telling me that the thing they like about the show is that Z is the voice of healthcare. Like he lived it just like everybody else is living it. And for some reason, he's got a certain specific mental illness that makes him just blurt everything out of his mouth that he wants to say. And he can say everything that you guys can't say, right? But then you can't share what Z's saying because then it basically says, yeah, I feel this way too. This guy's right.
Turds! I can just do that because I'm ZDogg. But if you hit like when I do a video that says turds, are you branding yourself with the scarlet like that your administrator is going to be like, oh, son, you're gone. You like ZDogg? I'm out. Here's the thing, though. What did we do today? We went to UMC Hospital. We shot hella Doc Vader clips for Dr. Man video coming out soon. We're going to edit tomorrow. We walked through the hospital as Doc Vader, and people are coming up and taking selfies because there's a tipping point, people, where it can be okay to have fun at work. It can be okay to express what we think in a safe place in a constructive way. And sometimes, yes, we bitch, and sometimes we rant. But we got to hit share. You know why? Because this is our voice. And I think the enlightened administrators are part of the voice. They actually get it. They're not going to fire you. They're going to be like, oh, you like ZDogg too? Yeah, that guy's, he's put on a few pounds since he got his clear calcium score. So, you know, I mean, other than that, I guess he's okay. I just got fat shamed by an administrator. Did you see that? We should hashtag that. Fat shamed by administrator and have it be me.
It's like I've seen a few people in the comments who are like, hey, can you guys, like I love you guys, but can you stop with the foul language? And I just want to be like, fuck no. I'm not going to fucking stop with the fucking foul language. Actually, that's how I talk, bitch.
Let me get real for a second. So the foul language thing is an interesting thing because in healthcare, it's considered very unprofessional until you go into any break room, any doctor's lounge, any party after work, and people are like, fuck this, fuck that, fuck this shit, my balls, kick that cock. And you're like, damn, homie, that's that's some serious cursing. That's like sailor level +2. That's like Navy corpsmen like making a baby rap and calling them little Satans bad, right? It's what we do in healthcare. Now, if you want to come to a space where you can hear a little cursing after work and you can unwind and we can talk about issues that actually matter, then come here. And yeah, we're going to curse, so maybe some people won't want to share it. And one thing that does bother me is that there are kids who watch the show and their parents let them watch the show and they feel bad when they have to listen to cursing. And as a parent, I totally get that. So there may be shows where, like our AMA shows, where we don't curse. That's awesome. But there are going to be shows where I'm like, damn, Tom, I got hella fat. And hella is the baddest word I can think of right now.
Like, damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie.
What the fuck happened to you? Oh, you went to hell, did you? My kids refer to that word as the HE double hockey sticks.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's a bad one.
They learned that from our Catholic insurance broker. What do we got here? Gail Cardoza says, block them. Yeah, that's true. You could just block all the administrators who are going to fire you.
Do you think the administration, or just in general, those in the ivory tower are intent on really crushing personality in healthcare workers?
Yes.
Because like one of my wife's hospitals she used to work at used to have a policy where you could wear like all kinds of cutesy scrubs, like whatever you wanted, and especially for peds and, you know, she's a NICU nurse and stuff, totally makes sense to have, like, you know, cute little characters on your scrubs and stuff. And then they made everybody just wear one blanket navy color, kind of like Z-Dogg here. They look like just a navy blueberry.
You shut up.
And then, you know, it kind of took all the fun and personality out of it. They couldn't express themselves that way on the job or anything, you know.
You know, we've talked about, by the way, do I look like Veruca Salt or Augustus
Kinda
Gloop
do,
or
yeah.
a mix of both?
Both.
You know?
That's a Willy Wonka reference. People.
Those Willy Wonka, what were those guys? Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Oompa Loompa Doompa Dee Dee. I'll read a comment, listen to me. Nikki Lynn says, yes, administration threatened me and called me a liar after my workplace assault. And then after liking Silent No More, I was bullied into quitting. Wow, Nikki Lynn. If that's a real story, you need to hit me on the PMs and tell me, wait, what is it? Creep up in my DMs? What is it?
Slide into his DMs.
Slip into my TDs? What is it? Slide into my DMs?
Slide into the DMs, yeah. The direct messages.
Nikki Lynn, slide into my DMs. Tell me what happened if you want to share it at all.
Usually
That's
usually that's a sexual thing.
Yeah,
Z, so I just want to.
Yeah.
You may not want to.
Are you saying I'm not sexy? Are you saying just because I may have put on a couple ounces after getting my negative coronary calcium score that I'm no longer desirable, Tom Heineberg? Because that is blueberry shaming.
You got moobs.
I won't have it. No.
Listen,
By the way, October is Breast Cancer Month. Men,
Oh, there it
don't
is.
forget, you
There
can get
it
it too. What? Little
Listen,
circles clockwise.
I think that we need to redefine beauty and throw out the old beauty standards, but not for you.
I'm getting very emotional. So look, dude, you made a point that I didn't follow up on, which is healthcare crushes creativity, individuality, ability to express yourself. I couldn't agree more vehemently because that was the story of my entire career.
Right.
Like that's why I'm wearing this beautiful outfit that makes me feel like who I actually am. Because the entire time you're working, you can't do that. It's unprofessional. I was told when I started making videos, like, man, you better start looking for another job.
Yeah.
And I did. And I made my own job, damn it. They can all suck it. But no, seriously, I mean, it is part of the culture. What I love is that you see these bright spots where that culture's starting to change. And if we can be a catalyst for that, not people like Nikki Lynn who are getting fired over it, makes me worry that the old system strikes back. But if once we reach critical mass, those motherfuckers can't fuck with us.
Well, have you ever heard the story that when you go into a room, a kindergarten classroom, and you ask kindergartners who's creative, all the hands shoot up. I'm creative. Right? By the end of high school, it's a scattering of hands. Because what does the school system do to you? They tell you to draw a picture of a dog when you're in kindergarten, and you draw this crazy squiggly mess, and they go, that's not a dog, D-, right?
Yep.
And that happens just repeatedly until you get to be an adult, and then you feel like you're not creative, when really you just had you had it beat out of you, and you listen to them. So the most creative people tend to be really anti-authoritarian, and like, no, I'm not going to listen to you, fuck you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you know, Cry Me a River, elementary school beats the creativity out of you. Oh, they're no longer creative. Try fucking medical school, dude. Try nursing school, try pharmacy school. You come in, I was told so many times, dude, don't speak unless you're spoken to. Shut your hole, stop making jokes on rounds, don't be yourself, play by the rules, later you'll be able to break them. No, there's no later.
Right.
There's no later unless you make it yourself. So it's true, creative people, they languish. I get messages all the time from people across the healthcare spectrum who are like, motherfucker, how'd you get this gig doing what you do? And I gotta be honest, Z-pak, like, people think I have some kind of magic wand and I somehow like escaped medicine. I didn't. First of all, I still see patients. Second of all, I built a clinic and ran it for 3 years. Third of all, it's blood, sweat, tears, work every day, doing what you love and staying authentic to actually who it is that you are without fear. Now, I'm sorry, yeah, lots of fear, without letting the fear stop you from doing what you do. And that's what will put you on the path that is your path. And it doesn't matter. Your path may be a straight job in a pharmacy somewhere helping patients. That may be your path. But it may be that another person is like, oh hell, I'm a dancer or I'm a comedian or whatever, but I also love helping people. And if they can figure out a way to combine those talents, and you see people, bright spots around the country being able to do this.
It's like that Joe Coy clip we shared where he's talking about, you know, like, how there's a lot of Filipino nurses and some of them really wanted to be dancers. He's like, damn, that nurse could dance. And she's like, it was always my dream. You know, like,
it's true.
Mark makes a really good point in the comments. He says, I occasionally swear with my patients, And the reality is you must meet your patients where they are or you'll never reach them. So Mark comes in and he's like, listen, motherfucker, you're killing yourself with these motherfucking cigarettes. Like, stop it, shit. Come on. Like, don't be a dumbass. Like, come on, bro.
Oh, man.
And he can reach a guy that way where the administration would look at that and be like, what are you doing? That's the most unprofessional behavior you could possibly have.
Age caps, patient satisfaction, panda. I got broads in Atlanta. No, and here's the thing, like this is the thing, you read your patient. If you have some degree of emotional intelligence, not everybody does.
Yeah.
You can read the patient. Like, for example, I may see a 90-year-old who was raised in the 1930s or something, and I will walk in that room, and I will act appropriately. I'll be like, pop, 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 another motherfucker drop. And that's how I'll do it, because I've read that woman and I'm like, she needs a thug. She needs a thug in her life. But, you know, the like 20-year-old gangster, you have to treat them more professionally. You have to, you know, exude an air, confidence, etc.
It's true.
It's true.
I think it's a good point. How did you do it when you were practicing? Like what were the creative outlets you had in your job in practice?
So I would wait for the patient that I could read was like on my sort of general wavelength about comedy or just a vibe, and it didn't matter what they had. They could have had cancer, they could have had a heart attack, they could have had a GI bleed, they could have had pneumonia, they could have had autoimmune disease. If I read after maybe a couple of interactions that this was somebody that I could turn it to 7, I would turn it to 6 and feel it out. And then it turns out they're an 8, and you can just go full like coming in, you know, the way that I met her was in line for the butt cream. You could just bring that, but you have to know your patient. Like, and what I saw more often than not in younger people in training is they misread it. They think they can do that and they can't. They get burned once or twice and then they're gone. They're like, I'm never doing that again.
That's exceptionally cringeworthy when people do that and they misread it.
Oh, it's terrible.
Ooh, Logan does it all the time. He has no emotional intelligence. Like
I still try though.
It's crazy.
But you know what he tries? He tries. Logan cares. I don't even know. Like, give me an example of what Logan would do.
You'd just be having a conversation about, whatever it is, like the healthcare bill, and you just be like, yeah, I can't believe what they're doing. Like, it's crazy. And you'd be like, Trump said he's going to nuke North Korea, right? Pretty dope, right, guys? You're like, okay, that's not, we're not talking about that.
We're talking about Trump.
Or he'll pull a story out like, do you know my second cousin twice removed was a rapist? You're just like, where did that come from? We were talking about raising kids.
So you can imagine how somebody like a Logan who is in the hospital setting, and somebody goes, yeah, doc, my knee, it hurts so bad. And Logan's like, yeah, my third cousin was an axe murderer, so I feel your pain, man.
So then Logan learns, okay, there are certain things, and you kind of put the clamp on it. But the people who are able to read the situations, they should be allowed some latitude, because as a patient, guys, how many of us have been patients? When somebody behaves like a human being, but also they're competent, they exude trust. In other words, you go, that guy knows what he's doing. He's not super arrogant, he's down to earth, or she makes me laugh, whatever, but I have this trust. Like, I would listen to what they say because they connect with me, and they're proving it by doing stuff. They're following up, they're not letting shit fall through the cracks, they're communicating when they say they're gonna communicate, they're following through. That kind of stuff builds trust, right? They're also, one of the things, how many times like patients will say, this doctor never talked to that doctor, and they never communicated, they never talked to the nurse, I told the nurse this, they never. Man, that's a deal breaker for trust. Because you do that, you're not listening to the other members of the team, or you're belittling them. Patients hate that shit, because they pick it up and they go, that guy is disconnected, I don't trust that he's getting all the information, and so I'm already on edge.
Well, this is the same, 3 different doctors could tell you the same thing, and you could have a different reaction to every doctor, right? Yeah. Like, where you only believe one of them because one of them took the time to be like, I see how you're feeling. Like, it's not like that. It's like this. Like, it's like this. Whereas the other 2 just talked at you, and you're like, go home, do this, take 2 pills, like whatever. Call me in the morning, dude. You know?
Yep.
It's the third guy you listen to, or gal, who is the person who took the time and
kind of made the connection.
Yeah, exactly.
But so one of the interesting things that we've been noticing, because Tom and Logan came to the nurses convention, and we noticed that there is a difference, because Tom's traveled with me as well, between doctors, nurses, pharmacists, all members of the healthcare team.
Yeah.
Like, nurses will come up, give me a hug, take a selfie, I love all your stuff, thank you for giving us a voice, and then they'll whisper, and thank you for the silent no more stuff.
for the violent stuff. It's real. I was assaulted 6 months ago. Nobody did anything about it. Thank you for saying stuff when we're afraid to say stuff. And that's the nurse perspective.
Yeah.
Unless they're emergency nurses, in which case they just punch you in the face and start laughing because they're
You
amazing.
know what I've noticed with the nurses is that they tend to have this ability to hold a lot of emotion at once.
Yeah.
They can hold more emotion than your standard person.
It's
and
true.
you can see it in them. They can, like, I feel it with my wife sometimes. Like, we'll be having an argument or whatever, and she'll just be like, I just feel mad at you and sad at you and disappointed in you and all these things all at once. And I'm like, damn, I really fucked up.
Yeah, we call that Tuesday for Tom. No, it's true. They're like, I'm mad, sad. Whereas doctors are really good at hiding emotions, at being incredibly cynical. So it's funny. So like when I meet docs on the road and they either recognize me or they don't, or they see the talk and they're like, okay, now they come up afterwards and they're like, hey, it's a pretty good gig you got there. How do I get a piece of that? They're just trying to find an escape from the burnout.
Yeah.
And they're glad somebody's using their like whatever minimal talent to do what they do. And it's such a different angle, right? And that's the beautiful thing. That's why I used to love hospital medicine, guys. Like in hospital medicine, the magic is you walk through the hospital and you connect with every single person that is on the team. And it's across the spectrum. So the physical therapist who's like got his or her hands on patients all day and is doing all this physical stuff, and that's a certain personality type. The respiratory therapist whose personality type is make me a damn video, ZDogg, because you haven't yet. And then nurses who we already talked about, and doctors and pharmacists and administrators and social worker case managers who are insane in a good way. And it's all that it's like a representative slice of all of humanity. And then you throw your patients in that mix. And you have a blessing, people. You're able to be in the most amazing environment. As hard as it is, as much as it burns us out, it's a freaking gift
Elizabeth
to be able to do
says,
that.
no one should have to whisper about violence. Why wait for your boss to get in the middle of it? Did you see on Twitter there was a healthcare CEO, hospital CEO in Ohio, I think it was, who shared the Silent No More video.
Oh, wow.
And everybody in the comments, all of the people that work under him at the hospital were like, thank you. Thank you for being the only CEO to share this.
I need to pull up his tweet because this was, I think, in Missouri. And I want to give an example of the power that the z-pak has and the power that enlightened administrators have in transforming the culture of healthcare. We talk about Health 3.0 all the time. Here's an example of how it might look. Now, let me see if I can find it. Keep pulling up comments while I pull up his tweet.
Well, here, I'm going to pitch this at you real quick. So we're talking about using creativity in a hospital setting, in a healthcare setting. But then we also said that, you know, certain people don't have the emotional quotient to be able to do that. So how, if I'm an administrator, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to loosen up, but how do I police these people? I have to make sure basically that I do it at a hiring level and that everybody I hire has a high emotional quotient. And how am I going to do that? And are those people even the best doctors or whatever? Like, I'd say, like, in surgery, maybe you don't need a high emotional quotient. Maybe you can be a straight up psychopath, right? But like, if you're going to be a hospitalist or a nurse or whatever, you're going to need a higher level of emotion. And do I hire for that?
You do. What you do is you don't manage, you lead. And the way you lead is you find people that fit the job that needs to be done. So somebody who needs high emotional intelligence, maybe it's a nurse, maybe it's a certain type of doctor, you're right, but a neurosurgeon or a particular type of surgeon doesn't necessarily need one, although we ran into a neurosurgeon today in the doctor's lounge while we were filming Vader.
Yeah.
And he was so on point, he just rolled with everything we did. We're like, you want to be in this video? He's like, sure, what do I need to do? And he just nailed it.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
And he was cool. So here's by the way, Steve Edwards is the CEO, president and CEO of Cox Health, working and living in the town I love, married to the girl of my dreams. We have 3 kids that we absolutely adore. Springfield, Missouri, coxhealth.com. He tweeted the Say Something Violence, Silent No More video that we did, and he said, violence against hospital staff, we must protect our caregivers, #Silent No More, and he tweeted my link. And he got 124 likes on Twitter, which is really hard to do, and 64 retweets, because Twitter is a shit fest. And this guy crushed it, and people are saying things like, thank you, so appreciate your leadership. Thank you for being willing to be vocal about this growing problem. #BestCEO. Thank you, amen, Steve. ED psych units, ICUs have become combat zones for our caregivers. Doctors have been tweeting at him. Nurses have been tweeting at him. Look at what can happen from the simple act of retweeting something that you believe in that many are afraid to do in a leadership position, and he crushed it. This show is about, should you be scared to share our stuff? Should you be scared to like our stuff? Steve wasn't scared. He's the CEO of a health system, and it paid off because he's doing the right thing, and you know that his organization is going to do well financially by doing good in the world, because those are the best organizations. It's about the culture and the team and the leadership.
Right, and if you read any business book, you know, from some of the top business managers, they are always talking about treating your employees with respect first. Like a guy like Howard Schultz comes to mind who runs Starbucks, because they know that the employees, you know, in our case, like nurses and docs and everybody on the team, they're the first people interacting with the customer, right? So why would you not want to treat them well and make sure that they're at a minimum physically safe from harm?
Happy employees, happy staff mean happy, healthy patients.
Right.
Like that's just a simple.
So I want to pitch this to you. Jessica says, what about psychotic patients? Are they responsible for assault? So this is something everybody talks about this. And I think it's because our audience is super empathic and they don't want to harm somebody who didn't necessarily have wrongful intent, which, of course, super admirable. So what do you do about that situation?
You know, it's tough. I think you still have to report it. You have to make sure it goes to the appropriate channels. But I think that there is a degree of involuntary violence that occurs in hospitals in delirious patients and psychotic patients,
yeah,
and people who are medicated. But that doesn't mean we give it a pass. It doesn't mean we don't talk about it, we don't report it. We can train to recognize it, we can train to deal with it, we can lower the risk of it happening and actually injuring someone, but occasionally that will happen, and we need to support the people who are harmed or injured and see if we can prevent it in the future. Recognize an escalating patient, there are ways to do that. So it's not perfect, but we have to do that. It doesn't mean that we wave a wand and give everyone a pass and say they were just weren't in their right mind.
Right. Well, and you know, the criminal justice system is basically set up to already sort the mentally ill from a regular population. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, like my mom is mentally ill, and she punched a cop one time.
Wow.
Right, and she got it reduced because the judge could clearly see like there was something wrong with her. She wasn't in her right mind.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, and was there ever any danger that she was going to be prosecuted?
Yeah, there was. Yeah. Because you got to sort it out in the interim. You know, she got the charges, and then I think they got dropped or reduced later.
Right.
Yeah.
And think how hard that is too for the family of someone with mental illness, because you know that when they are, you know, off their medication or they're having a flare or something's going on, you know how they can behave, and something goes wrong and they hurt someone, and they're really not in their right mind. But you're scared for them, you're scared for the family, you're scared for all those things that happen. So we have to z-pak, like we are in healthcare, so we have to be a little bigger, like in terms of love and compassion than your average, say, mechanic, who can actually be quite compassionate. So we have to consider those things. I know it's hard in the heat of emotion and all that, because the problem is it's swung the other way, where we're considered inhuman and not worth talking about, not worth protecting, not worth going and defending, not worth going to bat for. And that's where I think the imbalance has been. So we have to swing it back to the proper balance, and it is hard, but we have to at least try.
Brooke wants to know, what do you think about last names on badges? She says, we recently went to that at our hospital, and all of us nurses hated it. I can see that immediately being a problem.
Yeah.
Because you know, the patient could look you up on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Like, hey man, I got a hot nurse, dude.
Right.
Or gonna Google it right now, bro.
You know, I'm gonna kill this guy Wilson because you know he drew my blood wrong.
Or I'm gonna stalk this girl home.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Absolutely.
It is.
And again, I don't have the perfect answer, and you know there's a million regulatory hurdles, and you know then you have to think about, well, what about patient satisfaction, and what about HCAHPS, and what about like patients having the right to know who their caregivers are, you know? So that's a piece too, because if I go in a hospital, I want to know who's taking care of me. It's just something that I like to have that information, so it's a balance. So again, I think you got to have the discussion, and you got to look at, is there data, are there studies you can do? It's tough because you know you have to have enough of a power to detect how many violent incidents are occurring. It's tough.
Yo, some people in the comments are saying we should have a z-pak convention.
I know.
Should we have a z-pak convention?
It costs money, y'all. People are always telling me stuff. They're like, yo, ZDogg, check it. Like, you should have shirts. And I'm like, I had shirts. No one bought them because, you know, it costs money to buy a shirt. It's $20 or something, and we weren't making any profit on them. Well, you should have shirts. And how about a sticker that says silent no more? Do I look like I have the time to make stickers? Look at me. Okay, just look at me.
He's
Do I
got to
look
drop
like
the weight,
someone
people.
who has the time
There it is.
to make stickers?
That's disturbing.
Now a z-pak convention, that we have looked into. It costs something like $120,000 to run a convention like that in Las Vegas. And that means we'd have to charge a decent amount of money, and I still feel a little dirty charging people. You get CME and stuff, so maybe we can. But you know, I feel like if we do something like that, it's gonna detract. There's only 3 of us, guys. Like, this is it. This is our staff. So we don't have enough resource to even barely do what we do, and we're struggling and working hard, and we love it. We love it. We get up every day, except for Logan, who doesn't get up until noon. No, I'm kidding. He's actually up at the crack of dawn. What time do you get up, Logan?
6.
6, yeah. I'm a like 4-ish guy.
It would put us in a position where we'd have to work with a company who would be
Yeah.
doing it for profit because
Yep.
they'd have to do all the legwork.
Yep.
But I'm not totally opposed to it. I think it'd be cool.
Someone
Should do a cruise. Oh my God, that's even better than a convention.
Z-pak cruise.
Oh man,
Z-pak
the
cruise.
Z cruise. I like this.
Plus, I would feel really safe if I got too drunk and fell overboard, like, because
Totally.
there'd be hella medical people on board.
No, but no one would notice that you're gone, because that's what happens when people fall overboard. They're just like, what? Where'd Tom go? He's been gone for a week.
You'd be like, oh, you guys know Tom's a borderline alcoholic, right? Like, he's probably passed out somewhere.
Look at his finger, man. The Love Boat soon will be making another run. And that'll be constantly. I'll just be doing that the entire cruise. People will be jumping overboard just to escape from me singing Love Boat.
What about a
guys in?
remote convention? Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I think if we were going to do a convention or something, we
Make
would
it
put it
virtual.
out. We'd put out all the sessions live on Facebook too for anybody who didn't want to come or you couldn't come. You know.
Yeah, and then the people who are here are like, why did I spend $800?
Why did I
for
spend
this?
money on
could've
this?
Sat at home with
bad
my
idea,
hand in my
Tom.
pants. Damn, Z-Dog, you suck. Should we wrap it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we could wrap it, but you know, first you're gonna have to go out with a dope rhyme, dude. That's just what it is tonight.
All right, let me give you something right now. Let me
Hit 'em with it.
Let me just go ahead and put on my reading glasses, which I don't have yet because transitions is slow with my glasses. But let's see, where is Google Docs?
Somebody said Vegas isn't affordable. How dare you?
What? Who said Vegas isn't affordable?
Some person named Mary.
Mary.
She said pick a better venue / affordable.
Vegas is totally affordable. We could go to Nashville. That'd be dope.
Ooh.
Vegas has
Nashville.
tons of cheap flights. If we were gonna do it here, we would do it at one of the like local casinos.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do it down in the Strip.
Sam's Town.
Yeah, you guys could stay in $150 hotel rooms and we could all hang out.
All right, can I read you some rhymes for this proposed pharmacy rap?
Hit it.
Okay. Have you ever got a script without a cigarette date, but the patient throw a fit because you wanted them to wait? Let me tell you a story of my situation. It's applicable to pharmacists across the nation. The way that I met her was in line at the butt cream. She was getting yelled at, but her eye had a gleam. It was the very first time that we ever met. I was looking for some butt cream, lest you forget. I whispered in the ear, yo, I be trying to poo. So can I ask you some questions to try to solve in my stool? She asked, who's my doc? I said, blah, blah, blah. I got 9 out of 10 pain and my butt be raw. Okay, that's all you get, people. Let me
That
know
was
if
the
you...
widest beatbox I've ever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can't beatbox,
I was
y'all.
like, did we just get a whiteout in here? Because I heard some serious white beatboxing.
Listen, how dare you, bruh? I'm gonna tell my friend Blake and Connor that you said that about me, okay? When we were at the country club, like, how dare you, okay? By the way, like, do you wear Sperry topsiders? Because I do. Like, I just wanted to let you know that.
Hey, bro, my rainbow sandals are like starting to wear out, bro. Like, the leather's starting to crack, yo.
A lot of peeps are saying Nashville. Nashville would be dope, yo.
I think Nashville would be dope.
I
I'll
love
be down for
Nashville.
that.
Yeah.
I'll be down for that. Because we could get a little country, we'll get a little rock and roll. And then we got to...
Last time I was in Nashville, I went to a plantation that used to be, for slaves. And my family who are there, my aunt leaned to me and she goes, that plantation, it wasn't as bad as they said it was. It was one of the good ones. And I was like, I don't think that's accurate there. I think they were all pretty bad because, they held people there against their will.
Old people are funny. The other thing is we got to do that Made in America parody about opioids. How did that go, Tom?
He ain't prejudiced.
Oh, yeah.
He's just addicted to opioids.
Yeah, we want to do Toby Keith's Made in America about a guy who's addicted to opioids. And like he doesn't care if his doctor is like Indian or Chinese or whatever. He just wants opioids. He ain't prejudiced. He just addicted to opioids.
I'm just a common man. I drive a common van. My doctor gave me Ativan.
All right,
should we call it?
I think we're pretty much done. Some of you out there need to name your children Josephina or whatever. Josephina? What was the name?
Jezebina?
Jezebet.
Z-pak, hit share just cuz. We love you. Give us some money on Patreon. Why not?
Hit share, otherwise the man wins. That's the man. His name's Dr. Oz.
Where is he? That was subliminal AF, dude. Put him back. Put him back. He's hella woke. Oz! What? Dude, I just feel like I need to buy some green acai berry tea. How did that happen? I'm out.
Oh my God.
Go, go, go.
That was the worst ending to a show we've ever done. Like, we couldn't have done a worse ending.
You're the worst ending.
That's the birthday.